Hey, how's it going everybody? Welcome back to another video. It's your host, Rising Oblivion. Today guys, we're going to be going over a little bit of a survey ATLUS did from the fans in early 2021. In this survey, there are 10 different titles that we could possibly be getting for future Shin Megami Tensei titles. And I'm not just saying Shin Megami Tensei as in like SMT 3 spinoff or SMT 5 spinoff. This also includes Persona. When it comes to ATLUS, they really just generally say Shin Megami Tensei for everything, which technically Persona is part of Shin Megami Tensei, vice versa. You kind of get what I'm saying. But ATLUS did a survey in 2021 recently talking about different types of games that they would like to see: strategy games, board games, text games, rhythm games, different things like that, online MMOs, something like that, along those, things that people have been wanting from the fans. Well, ATLUS has done a survey in 2021 talking about the different things they would like to see, but I wanted to go over one in 2015 to show that this list might actually hold some credibility for future titles that we could see in the future. So they did win in 2015, and fans had a long list once again, and the one in 9th place was a Warriors type Mozu game, which ended up actually becoming Persona 5 Strikers. So the survey does make sense, and it actually is sort of viable. Same thing with some of the ports. They also did things like that for ATLUS, and ATLUS also came out with other types of titles like the Persona 4 Golden on PC and porting certain games like that. These surveys actually hold some ground, guys, and they actually do mean some stuff when it actually comes to what the fans want, which is maybe not the best way to figure out what the fans want by doing just, sort of a survey, but hey, they're still trying to listen and just trying to understand from, where is the perspective of the fans at? What are they wanting? What are they after? Well, let's talk about this new survey here, and let's talk about who could possibly do certain games like these and what we might end up seeing in the future, guys. So, at number 9, there was a Shin Megami Tensei series action RPG game, which honestly is something similar, I guess, to kind of like Strikers in a way, when it comes to like action RPG. When it comes to action RPG, I think of things like, you have your big open world games, something like Zelda, Breath of the Wild, for instance. We could potentially see something similar to Strikers, but imagine it being a giant open world type of game, an action RPG, not turn-based anymore, free-flowing sort of combat, which actually would be pretty damn cool. Maybe something like Final Fantasy 15 with a big open world type of thing. I honestly would be super down for that. In 8th place was Shin Megami Tensei series fighting game. So maybe something like the arena games. I think people, and a lot of times I can see in my chat and a lot of times in the comments, so many people are talking about, man, I really want another arena game. I want P5 Arena, which it really doesn't seem like that's something that's going to happen. There's a lot of videos out there talking about why, but don't really know if maybe the people over there who make the arena games or have been making the arena games are kind of busy with Dragon Ball Z Fighters and whatnot, but that doesn't mean that they have to make it. We could still see a Shin Megami Tensei series type of fighting game from a different developer. It doesn't necessarily have to be them. Bandai Namco, the people who maybe make something like Dragon Ball Xenoverse or something like that, could try and make a Shin Megami Tensei series fighting game. I wouldn't be necessarily against that. I've sort of had these strange ideas, like what if NetherRealm actually picks up like an IP like Dragon Ball or like Persona or something like that and makes a sort of like 3D/2D, like 2.5D fighting game. That honestly would be pretty damn cool. Number 7th within this survey here was a series strategy RPG. So I don't play a lot of these, but I kind of understand what they're trying to go for here. It might be something more similar like Fire Emblem and stuff like that, which I think a lot of people have also sort of been excited about and wanted to see something when it comes to more of a strategy RPG than just flat out turn-based, but actually where you actually put the characters at in combat and stuff like that. The Project Triangle is something I like to think about whenever it comes to like strategy RPGs and where they're going. Maybe something like a Persona game like that or a new SMT game like that. That would be honestly pretty dope. I'm not huge into that genre, but I can understand why people would want that. Number 6 within the survey of what fans wanted was a board game. And I'm not sure if people were talking like an online board game or a brick and mortar, like actual physical board game that you'd have to go pick up from the store. But honestly, I think either way, it does work out pretty cool. I know Kira over the Midnight Channel, he actually had something I think similar to where it was a actual P5 board game. Like, it was sort of fan-made from somebody he knew, but a lot of us also talked about how we wouldn't mind seeing something like a board game. I don't know what it would be like or how it would play or what you would do in it, but I think a board game type of thing where you're trying to steal treasure and stuff like that does sound kind of cool. It sounds kind of piratey in a way, stealing treasure and whatnot, but who knows what to see. Number 5, and this kind of surprises me, was a Shin Megami Tensei series text game, like text adventure. Like you type in and it does something like that. I didn't think these type of games were alive still. Like if you're a person out there who likes text-based games, adventure games, please let me know. I've heard that this is kind of sort of like making a comeback, and I completely understand why. Because of how good visuals have become, and something like Persona and Shin Megami Tensei, where they have super nice sprites, nice dialogue and stuff like that, wouldn't it be kind of cool, instead of being Joker and then the game gives you 3 choices to make on whether or not what you want to say, imagine if you got to say pretty much anything you wanted, and you could get a certain response back. That would give us a lot of freedom of choice, especially as a protagonist. Sometimes you don't fully understand what Joker's about to say, or you'll select an option but he kind of says it differently, or he gestures it differently, and you don't quite get the outcome that you wanted. A text-based adventure game could actually help you dive into that and make something a little bit closer to what you actually feel at home, what you actually wanted. So number 4 was Shin Megami Tensei, a series rhythm action game. So this isn't just a rhythm game, something like P4 Dancing or P3 or P5 when it comes to like Dancing in the Starlight or something like that. This is a rhythm action game. So maybe something similar more to the most recent development when it comes to Kingdom Hearts with Melody of Memory. Somehow it adds not only just the, you know, sort of like musical aspects of something like Guitar Hero, or where you're pressing the buttons as they come to you on the screen, but by doing so, you're actually defeating shadows and stuff like that. Persona 4 Dancing does have them technically beating up and defeating shadows, but you don't really see that. Sometimes in the cutscenes you see certain things like that happen, but you don't actually see the action happening on screen like something you see with Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory, where you click a button so it does something. If you press triangle, you get a special move, he does like a fire blast and things like that. That would actually be really cool, and I could see how they could easily incorporate that with something like Persona. They clearly know how to do the dancing type of games, so honestly, I think that would probably be a pretty easy thing to do here. So, at the number 3 spot, they have a series online RPG. So the big thing I think a lot of people have been wanting is a online RPG, a big MMO game with all of the different Shin Megami Tensei stuff. I don't think this has to be necessarily just, you know, brought down to like SMT3 or SMT5 or Persona 4 or Persona 5. I think they could have all of the stuff together, and I think that would be pretty good for the community, because ATLUS could be trying to pull strings from every single like card they have. The Catherine fans, the Persona fans, the hardcore S&T fans, or maybe like the Persona 1 and 2 fans, things like that, and bring all of those people into a big online RPG type of game. Maybe something similar to like Final Fantasy 14, or maybe like World of Warcraft or something like that. I know that's like a huge scale and probably is like super hard to do, but I think a lot of people really want to have a type of RPG that's big like that. And I think something like that, where it then goes into a turn-based type of combat system, honestly is pretty fucking dope. I'm not sure if they would do something like that, or if they would have it be, you know, more like an action-based MMO RPG that's online or something like that, but either way, man, I still think that would be pretty dope, and potentially even give us something like character creation in a Persona game or SMT game or something like that. It would be really nice to be able to finally have your own type of character. A lot of times you're silent protagonists. Well, in an online RPG where technically story doesn't really matter a whole lot, because it's sort of just like the outside, you know, canon of the universe, so it doesn't matter a ton, but it's still fun to play. Being able to create your own character doesn't seem like such a bad idea. Okay, number 2 on the list. So the last 2 are kind of underwhelming. Shin Megami Tensei series card game. So when I imagine it says card game, it doesn't mean physical. It probably means something like an online card game, something like, you know, these huge card games like, you know, Magic, and I can't forget whatever other ones there are. You know, there's a ton of them out there, but Magic's like the biggest one. A lot of them try to copy off of Magic and stuff like that, but Magic might be something that will be kind of a cool thing to see within a card game. There are a ton of monsters within the Persona SMT universe. There's so many within the Shin Megami Tensei universe. I guess I could just say the Megami Tensei universe. There's tons of monsters and different things that they could do with a card game. So if they did do a type of like, you know, Magic the Gathering type of card game that's online or digital or heck even physical, they have a lot of stuff that they can go off of. They have a lot of different personas and things. They can even incorporate certain things like potential like persona fusions while you're in the middle of a battle. Fuse personas together and have them do different things. This kind of reminds me of TFT, if you ever played that with like a League of Legends type of stuff. That's sort of similar to that, with fusing different characters together, or different, you know, personas and monsters together and demons together to create brand new ones that are even stronger. I think the Persona series fits perfectly with that. And the #1 title for the Shin Megami Tensei series was an action-adventure game, which, to be fair, you could almost classify all of them as action-adventure games. So for #1 to be a action-adventure, really that's just kind of, I think, us just saying, we just want more games, man. We want more games in general. It doesn't say turn-based, so maybe not having a turn-based aspect, but the #1 thing people are wanting is, you know, action-adventure. They want action-adventure games, which is very understandable, which, you know, that's what the whole series is kind of based off of. You're having this big adventure, there's a lot of action, turn-based, non-turn-based. Either way, there's still a lot of stuff going on, and honestly, I think that's just more of us just trying to say, we just want more games. So I'm not really going to dive into what #1 there, action, adventure game, I don't know. Let me know down below which one of these sounds like the best to you. What would you like to see out of the Shin Megami Tensei series? As always, like, comment, subscribe. I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.